There are going to be a lot of things coming into play. And one thing is patients not being heard. I agree.
Yes.
You hear that time
right.
and time again. So as providers, we have to make sure that we are listening to patients. We have to make sure that we remember that a woman, like, she's working with you as the doctor, right? Or she's working with you as the healthcare provider, but she knows her body, right? She knows her body. So when she says that something doesn't feel right, take her complaint seriously and investigate that issue to make sure it's not just regular swelling of pregnancy, because that can happen. Make sure it's not just back pain that's just because you're pregnant. Like, pregnancy is hard. You're gonna have some aches and pains. And sometimes it is nothing, but sometimes it's something. And if your patient is presenting symptoms to you as a healthcare provider, you need to listen, you need to investigate, rule out the bad stuff so that you can, with great confidence, say, I really think this is just a regular ache or pain of pregnancy.
And Munifa, can you just give us an idea of what you're doing with your work with Moms Rising?
Part of the things that we've worked on at the federal level is pushing the Preventing Maternal Deaths Act. That has been a law that is going to have each state put in place a maternal mortality review committee. And then the CDC will compel them to come up solutions to bring their rates down and to decrease the racial disparities. On the state levels, we've been sharing our stories with different states, and sometimes lawmakers are shocked. In New Jersey, they were shocked to find out that New Jersey had the third highest rate in the country. I know people from New Jersey might be listening, but to their credit, the legislators and the governors just signed a host of bills to bring these rates down, doing things like expanding Medicaid to cover postpartum, making sure people have access to doulas and midwives, and putting standard practices in place in all of the hospitals in the states around childbirth. Because part of the issue is that we really haven't standardized across the country protocols when some of these emergencies arise.
Monifa, thank you so very much for being with us and sharing your story and all the work that you're doing. The statistics are certainly alarming, but they don't always tell the complete story behind these numbers. There's the shock, the grief, the anger of families who anticipated a joyful birth, but instead experienced overwhelming tragedy. Families like this one.
My daughter, Demi, was absolutely a great girl. Loving, caring, and her smile could light up a room.
I asked Demi to marry me on Valentine's Day of 2018. She was just everything that you would want in a wife.
Demi was in school for psychology when she found out she was pregnant. Demi was so excited to be a mom.
When I found out it was a boy, I was ecstatic, and we were excited to start the new chapter with our son.
When Demi was 32 weeks pregnant, she noticed some swelling on her hands and her feet and some on her face, and she just didn't feel right.
So she went to the hospital because she had a gut feeling that something was wrong. They told her blood pressure was really high.
They gave her medication and sent her home.
We thought everything was fine. We were going to do exactly what the doctor said, so everything was going to be okay. So we went home, gave her a kiss, told her I loved her, gave the baby a kiss on the stomach, and went to bed. It was about 1 in the morning, and I woke up, and I had saw Demi, and she was shaking as if she was having a seizure. I called the ambulance, gave her chest compressions, so paramedics arrived.
I get a call from Xavier. I could hear him on the phone, and he's saying she's turning blue.
I'm yelling at her, saying, come on, babe, come on, you can wake up.
When we got to the hospital, they did a C-section right there to get the baby out.
And so finally the ER doctor comes and he said, I'm sorry, but your wife has passed.
And it was a nightmare. It was absolutely horrifying. And everybody fell to the ground. And then I held her hand for the last time and had to say goodbye to my daughter.
I had spoke with the doctor, and he pretty much said that he was alive, but there was no brain activity. And that's when I made the decision to take him off the machine. I sat down and held my son until he took his last breath, so he died in my arms as well. I wake up every morning and she's not there. I look for her. Every night I lay down to an empty bed. It's the worst feeling ever.
It hurts so bad that life doesn't mean as much anymore.